We're gonna go ahead and post these in the group.
All right.
Get everything going real fast. That's 7. Oh, we got people in here already. Dang, that was fast. Amy, Fernando. Yeah, everybody's all in here already.
They want to see Amy.
I don't know about that.
I do. I do.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
It's honest. I don't think I mean, I'm being nice, but I think it's honest too. I think that it's good to have different voices on. And I think that you are a very different voice in the merch community. And I think it's important to talk to people like you that are doing things a little bit differently. I think you're going to have a unique perspective. So I think it's going to be valuable for the audience.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to being here. And thanks for the invite. Yeah.
Me and Matt have been talking today. We were talking to, was it like in the afternoon? Or like in the morning. We're talking about having different people on, just having different point of views, because I think one of the most important things is we all learn differently. We like, you know what I mean? That's a big thing. Like one person can actually show everybody how to do something a certain way, but then like really good. But then there's like that 10% or 20% that don't understand it completely unless another person says it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and it's definitely not like a one size fits all thing. Like there's so many ways you can attack merch. It's incredible. Or any like entrepreneurial like venture. So
yeah.
For sure. Well, I think the other thing we've been talking about too, and this is why I was trying to like blackmail Amy into coming onto the show too, is like I want to have more women voices come on the show because women make up a huge part of the merch community. Like, and I think it's important to have that voice out there. Like there's plenty of guys like us that have no problem like saying things, but I feel like, you know, the Girl Boss show is great because it's kind of giving a voice to the Merch Money show too. There needs to be more. Like you guys need to have more examples and more people out there showing that, like, you know, it's not just a man's game.
No, and I would love to see Amy come on. I know she did like the podcast once with Anthony.
She did with Anthony, yeah.
A while back, and that was pretty big. But yeah, she needs to get on.
I'm really close to just like holding out on her, but I couldn't do it. Like she's so nice. Like
she is. She's the best. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And be careful too, because I mean, you know, she's like this mystical unicorn, 100,000 tier. She could like, I don't know, spout lightning at you.
Okay.
You know, the most impressive thing about Amy, because we met at like a mastermind event that we did in Detroit, and I'll be honest with you, the most impressive thing about Amy wasn't that like there was like magic there, right? Mm-hmm. It was hard ass work. Like she works.
Oh, she is the ultimate girl boss.
Yeah.
I mean, she grinds. She gets up early. She goes to bed late, and I mean, she does the thing, and she walks the walk, talks the talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Everybody's join on. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and share it, please. Let's get some people on here. We have Amy on, and we're gonna actually have a really good show because I think we just took a week off, so that's one of the reasons too as well. And then that's about it. Let's go ahead. We're gonna start off with the last 7 days. If you guys haven't got that up, go ahead and get that up. Let's get the last 7 days going. What's up, Tim? What's up, Eric? Eric. Both Erics are on.
Trey Taylor came out of the woods. He's not hunting this week.
Yeah, where's he at? Oh, there he is. What's up, Trey? What's going on, man? All right. So last 7 days, 362 shirts sold at $973.
You're kicking my ass. Etsy has been better for us than merch the last couple of days, but we're at 167 for $527.99.
Nice.
I am at 187 for $499.34.
Nice. Good job. Good job. Okay. I'm not sure how we're gonna go about so down below we're gonna have the merch money. We have that down below. I spelled that wrong, spelled money wrong. And then we have the girl boss. Was it girl boss, right? The girl boss.
Yeah, merch. Oh goodness. Yeah, it's close. Girl boss merch. Put that in, you'll find us.
Okay, so down below in the description down below we have she's actually part of 2 YouTube channels. When she told me that right there earlier today, I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure.
Well, we had you on Merch Money.
Yeah.
And you had us. You had Merch Money on y'all's show not too long ago too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, what? So I know 'cause I see you a lot. I've been seeing you a lot more, so that's pretty good. That's a good sign. So if you guys haven't subscribed to any other channels, they're down below in the description. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Now, okay, if you want to go ahead and just give a little story about yourself and how you got started with everything.
Yeah. So all right, I started Merch June of 2017. So I've been on the platform for a little over a year. I sold my first shirt relatively quickly and I was very excited. And from then on, it was like, okay, cool. I have an opportunity now that I can be creative and make some money. And we were a one income family. I've got 3 kids and a husband. So we're a family of 5. And bills have been tight, paycheck to paycheck, just doing the thing. Staying home mom, raising my kids, homeschooling, the whole kit and caboodle. Started getting onto Merch, started selling shirts, started making some pretty decent money to help supplement things. And I've been hooked ever since.
Nice. So how did you find Merch?
That is a good question. I credit Chris Green because that's what everybody does, but I don't think that's where I heard about it. We were starting to dabble in FBA, and I think it was in one of the groups that we were in, somebody mentioned Merch, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll sign up. So I signed up and totally forgot about it. And then a friend of mine in a group completely separate, she was also in FBA, and she said that she got her invite. So I'm like, oh, I'll check my email. Sure enough, I had been invited 2 months prior than the email, and I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm like, I get in there, I read the thing where it said if you don't upload within a certain amount of time, then they're going to take you off. So I'm like, oh, I'll get something up. I put up this crappy design, put it up, filled in the information, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And got into the groups, read everything in Chris Green's group and everything I could get my hands on, and just went right all in for it.
Now, did you have any kind of design background when you started in Merch? Had you done anything? So how did you make your first design?
The Overapp. Thank you, Chris Green. I will credit him for that. The Overapp. Being a mom, especially having at the time, I was pregnant, and then of course he was born and everything. So I had to be very mobile, and the Overapp was perfect for that. So I was just putting out simple text-based designs in niches that I was really passionate about, and they're still my best niches. But yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Are you allowed to tell that first design?
I'm not going to, because it would really give away a lot. Let's see if I can hint towards. Well, there's these cool Thug Life glasses on it. I'll give you that much.
Okay. The reason I'm saying that too is because there's a lot of people out there that are just newbies, because that's pretty much a lot of our audience too. It's a lot of newcomers that come on, and they don't understand what's going on. And there's some of the people that are actually they should be on another level, but they're not, because they still don't understand it. They're stuck.
Now, the one thing I would say about that is start with what you know, and it's good practice too, because you're going in on something that you already kind of know about. Design around it and get it out there. And the worst thing that's going to happen is it doesn't sell. So you keep putting different things up. But if you're passionate about something, other people are going to see that through your work, I think. So just keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's another thing too. One of my first designs, I'm probably going to show everybody. It's a horrible design, but it still makes sales. And it says it popped up recently. It was please order a size up. So a lot of people are oh, he's breaking the rules. It's okay. Before they didn't have that policy. You know what I mean? They just said nothing about that. So I just want to make it clear, we're learning as we're going along still too as well. There's still no right and there's still no wrong on certain topics. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they think
I've still got a shirt that's stuck in processing. It's been stuck in processing for at least 8 months. That still has it in. I can't change it. I can't do anything about it.
They just put one of my best sellers in processing. It's been stuck there for the past 2 days, and I'm like, come on, get out of there.
Every time I see that, I get scared, because I've seen some that they've taken away the youth sizing, because for example, you had smoke or something in the bullets. Not that you're saying I'm smoking a cigarette or something like that. Maybe it's smoke from the campfire, but it doesn't matter. It's kind of whacking it with a shotgun. I'm we have a lot of stuff that sells kind of in those niches, and I don't remember exactly what I have in my bullet. So every time it goes into processing, I'm fuck. Please don't take away the kid sizing, because the kid sizing sells really well for us.
Yeah, I think they need to look through that a little bit better. I've had
I think they are. Like we've had
you
conversations about it. It's something that I think that they kind of went with a wide brush, and they've realized they went a little too wide.
Yeah, there's another thing. Someone says something in the chat. Tim says still ask for reviews. I actually, like, one of my first videos that I ever made was like, hey, it's still stuck in there. Like, I had to go back. I had my VA when she was uploading at the time because no one said nothing about it. So I had a VA at the time uploading to merch, and I actually took out all that. Please leave a review, and it's still stuck in there. It's like a glitch on the listing. I took it off on my back end. It's out of there, but it's a glitch on Amazon. So, yeah. All right. Okay. So now that you kind of have a better understanding, right, of merch now on like the design and like what made you want to learn? If that's even a question, like what made you want to learn how to design? Like you didn't outsource it at all, or you didn't?
No, I've been doing it all myself, and I was buying design bundles and stuff, and putting it in. Using the Overwrap was a big one too. Using some of their graphics and everything, but after a while, I got really nervous using other people's stuff because, like, the Hungry JPEG, they allowed print on demand for the longest time with their stuff, but then all of a sudden, all their content creators were like, "Whoa, wait a minute, we didn't sign up for a print on demand." And they totally changed the rules like overnight. And that really made me nervous. And it's like, okay, I need to start like just going all in 100% authentic with my stuff. And that's what started it for me.
Now, do you have like any kind of art background? Like, did you sketch things as a kid?
Yeah. When I was little, like I was all about creating. Up until high school, and then I was too cool for school, so I kind of stopped. And just recently, because of merch, picked it back up. But yeah, I've always had an appreciation for the arts. I'm definitely not like Picasso or anything.
Right, but I mean, you were a kid that like you had a piece of paper, you draw on it
all the time. I remember in 5th grade, I actually won a gold medal for DARE for like coming up with some poster about don't do drugs, kids. So yeah.
RJ, you should have listened to her.
Oh my god. No, it's pretty crazy. Like there was a time when I was in honor roll in middle school, and I'm just like, what the hell is an honor roll? Like I never would think, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I actually enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed going to school and stuff like that. But another topic.
So let's get into like where you are right now, Amy. What tier are you on?
6,000. Ready to be. I'm eligible for an upgrade, but I only have like I think 3,600 shirts, so I gotta.
Yeah, you sound
gotta
like
fill
us.
Those slots.
Yeah, we're kind of similar. Like we're tier 8K, but we're eligible for a lot more than that.
Yeah.
We've got about the same 4,000 live right now. When did you start like working with Procreate? Like, where did you decide that was the program you wanted to work with?
I loved everything that I was seeing because it looked simple. I could just go in and create. I was already creating on an Apple product, my iPhone, and it just made sense to go with the iPad. And then Procreate being only $10, it seemed like a good idea. So in April, for my birthday, I decided, you know what, I'm buying my first iPad with the pencil, and I've been very happy with that.
Now using the iPad Pro or the iPad Air?
The iPad, the 2018, not the Pro, although I will eventually upgrade to that. I just don't need to right now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I just think it's good for the audience to know like kind of what you're working with, because everybody has a budget.
I'm with the budgeted iPad.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Procreate. Okay, now what is that? Because I know there's gonna be a few questions. What's that?
It is it's an Apple exclusive app for certain generations of the iPad and the iPad Pro, and you can create. Like they had for the Windows, you had Paint.
Right.
This is like Paint on steroids. You can watercolor and all kinds of stuff on there. It's very user friendly, especially with the Apple Pencil, and it's just another. It's like an art thing.
Cool.
Tablet canvas.
Okay. Because I actually had no idea what it was. So, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, like, how are you designing? Like, okay, how many designs a week what's your target? Like, what's your goal?
I honestly, I don't really have a goal, because I don't really want to put a number on it, because then I don't really want things to like suffer, because I do want to stand out. But for the most part, I'm making about 3 to 5 unique designs a day when I'm sitting down and designing. But I don't design every day.
Now, are you doing? So I've seen some of your drawings, and they're really cool, actually.
Thanks.
If you guys want to see some of Amy's artwork, you should follow her on Instagram. She posts it pretty regularly. She also posts it on Facebook too. But they're really cool. And now, are you taking that stuff and are you transitioning into shirts? Is this just kind of random projects that you're working on to learn skills?
It's mostly just learning, and I joined Inktober. Every October they have these prompts and you just kind of go with the flow, and I figured this was a great opportunity to just kind of not think merch, but just perfect the art, or just, get better at it. And but no, there's a few that I've put on, like pop sockets and shirts and stuff, like the chicken for sure. I know you guys.
The chicken was great.
You guys have talked about my chicken, so yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing like hand lettering along with your art, or are you just doing the artwork and then adding fonts?
Just adding fonts. I'm really not good at lettering, but that's on my to-do list, because I believe that if you want to learn something, like, you have everything at your fingertips to do so. So eventually I will. Okay.
Just for a tip for the audience and for you, my friend Josh Brown introduced me to, there's a book called 100 Days of Lettering. And I'll put the link in the show notes. Like, he swears by that thing. He's like, I suck. Like, I'm a horrible designer, but this made me much better, especially at text-based designs and understanding layout and the way that it's supposed to work.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look. I love recos, so I'll definitely check that out. Thank you.
So when you're designing, are you just designing whatever you feel like, whatever's coming up in the moment, things obviously, right? Like, for things that you're doing, or are you doing research prior?
Thanks to you and RJ, I'm doing research now. So I will, I'll spend some time on Merch Informer. I've been applying a lot of y'all's methods, and I've been designing around that, putting my own spin on it, unique, and, my own art and everything. And it's paid off.
It does.
A few times.
Well, especially, the thing that I think that is really valuable for the audience to hear is you're trying to stand out within a niche, right? Like, you're not necessarily just throwing up garbage or spaghetti against the wall, as Ken likes to call it. Like, you're trying to do something that's different, that's going to stand out within a niche. And I think it's really, really important, because I think it's something a lot of people miss, especially right now. Like, we talk about it all the time, but I think people get confused. Like, when you see a design and you realize that there's an opportunity there, you have to do something different. You can't just take whatever their layout is and change a font and go, this is going to sell, because you're never going to stand out there.
No, and I've tried that, and it doesn't work. But what does work is when you take an idea and you give it a completely new spin and put yourself in it, and that's what sells, because there's nothing else like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another thing I've been practicing too, and that's why I've seen a big result. Like, with my numbers, they actually kind of seem like they're doubling when we get closer to Halloween, because that was a niche I was actually focusing on. A big thing is like when you guys search for a certain keyword and you see like the list of shirts that pop up, as in standing out in a niche, like, you want to see the other designs and be better than the rest of the designs on that page. I think that's a very important thing right there. Now, so with the iPad, is there like a little pen that you're drawing with it, or how's this working? Or you just...
Yeah, in fact, I might have it right here.
Okay,
I can't get it. Yes, it's the Apple Pencil, and
so you're not using your finger, are you?
No, I'm using the Apple Pencil. It's got this Bluetooth capabilities in it. It's pressure sensitive, so it's very similar to that of a regular pen, which is really cool.
Okay, and then it also, so it works like, because I know, so I have a few designers on the team, and they're using like something similar to that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they tell me like it's so much easier just to use that pen and draw on the iPad. It's like writing on paper and stuff.
It is, yeah. The Apple Pencil's like that too. It's very smooth, and it's very similar to pen and paper.
Okay. So with the research part too as well. So how's that going for you? Are you having fun doing it? Are you kind
I am like I've talked on like different videos that I've done with others about how research has not been my strong suit. But I'm like, you know what? I can see the value in it. So I just had to keep pushing myself to continue doing it. And then eventually it became fun when I started to see that, wow, I just put 10 of these shirts up in this niche and like 2 of them sold in 12 hours. It's like, okay, it's fun now. So
that's the best part. Like that's
it
the rush.
is.
100%. It's like, and once you start getting better at the research and you understand like, okay, I can take this niche and I can combine it with this niche and I'm pretty sure this is going to work. And then it works for you. It's just like, it's that dopamine rush. Like, it's just like suddenly you're like, oh yeah, I know that like this is because I did something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like just throwing something against the wall. Like, you know that there's a process and it worked.
And it does, and it inspires you to continue. Now, I haven't done that yet. I haven't taken like one niche and like combined it with another, but
start.
Yeah, I think
especially because you're doing your own artwork. Start. Like, it's really, really powerful because it's a way for you to stand out within both niches and still like draw from the demand from both niches.
Yeah, for sure. I did that. I was uploading on the 19th, and I had a shirt that sold today, and I was like, well, there it goes, because there was like no competition in it at all. And then I uploaded to it, and then just took over, and yeah, I made it sell today. So that's actually one of the best feelings ever, because like you actually done the research and you remember it, and then it makes it sell. You're like, yes. So that's pretty cool. It's a really good feeling.
It is. It makes me want to keep researching and applying the methods that honestly I have to give y'all the credit for, y'all and Neil, because y'all have been the pioneers in that. So
yeah, it's a fun thing.
Yeah, I'll give credit where it's due. Like, that came from Neil. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've taken the stuff that he has like shown us in his videos and everything else, but just incorporating it and putting it to work. Like, he's the one that kind of showed me exactly how to do it. A lot of my videos, honestly, like, are just like that's stuff that Neil has shown in other videos, and I'm just putting it all together for other people to see it. For whatever reason, and we talk about this behind the scenes too. Like, if Neil puts something out, for whatever reason, it doesn't connect with people. It just doesn't. And I love his videos. I'm like, yes, that works great. But I'll put it out like the exact same thing, and people are like, oh, that's amazing. And suddenly, like, everything works.
See, I thought it was really cool. His last over the shoulder that he did, I'm watching, and it was just like, wow, that's exactly what I've been doing. It felt so good.
Right.
It was like confirming. Yeah. But I hear you.
Yeah, that's pretty much just all I did too as well. And I just just did it, and then all of a sudden it started clicking for everybody else, and I was like, okay. I
heard you just copied pixel for pixel.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I don't know why people say that.
It's all your fault.
Chris Green showed me a blog today that they're talking about if YouTubers show their designs live when they do research on YouTube, whatever. If you make a video and they show their design, they want to sue you. Start suing you on the Reddit. I was on the Reddit post. All the smart motherfuckers, all the smart motherfuckers on Reddit or whatever you guys want to call yourselves over there.
They're probably in the chat right now. Watching.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I'm just like, stop being like that. Because when you guys see me in person, you guys are like, oh, there goes RJ. It's like, come on, dude. You can act the same. They act the same. They act totally different online. But when they see me in person at a conference, next time that's what I told myself. I was like, when I go to a conference, I'm gonna wear my gym shorts and my shirt and just go on stage and just act like I'm not gonna dress up at all. I'm not gonna put no pants on because most of the time I do.
Well, no, you're not gonna put your pants on. We've seen those pictures.
Oh, I set myself up for that one.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, it's the same exact thing, and that's I don't know. That's what I don't get. So
yeah, but when you have your haters, you know you've made it. So let them talk on their little anonymous chat amongst themselves. It's sad.
Whatever. We've given them
we've
given them enough attention tonight. Like,
they'll be talking about it later.
I'm sure that they will.
It's gonna be in the Reddit forums.
But we're here to talk to Amy because I think this is something that I think because you do pretty much everything when it comes to merch, right? Like, you do your own research, you do your own designs, everything else. And I think there are a lot of those people out there that are exactly like you, or they want to be like you. Like, they want to be able to take control of what they're doing with merch, do their own research, do their own designs, and not depend on outsourcing or anything else. So, we've talked to a lot of bigger people that depend on, like RJ, who outsources everything. He does the research, he has other people designing. But in your process, when you start researching things, is it systematic? Like, do you have a set of research that you know you're going to go after, or are you kind of more freeform? You kind of start looking for an idea, and then you find a specific niche, and then that's what you design for the day?
Definitely more freeform. I have a really hard time of just like coming up with ideas, so I just play around. I love the movers and shakers bit on Merch Informer. Not so much even trying to find trends, but just to find ideas.
Spark an idea.
Yeah, and then I'll go from there. Sometimes I'll use random word generators to give me something to work with, because I do have a hard time just coming in and going, oh, I'm going to look up Pitbull shirts, you know.
Right.
So
okay,
it's definitely freeform.
When you're designing, do you find that you are putting a lot of stuff into a small number of niches, or are you kind of all over the place?
I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I try to take things that I can use, and I'm definitely like niche specific, but I'll design things that I can use in other products within that niche.
Okay.
I think that's what you're saying.
Kind of, yeah. So like one of the problems that I find that a lot of people when starting out is, instead of like finding a niche that they can be successful in, like that they understand and they can do well in, what they'll do is they'll have one or two shirts in a niche that does well for them, and then they'll jump and go to another niche because they're like, well, this is selling, I'm going to move on. Like, and it's one of the things I think, especially that people struggle with at the beginning. It's like, if you have an idea that's working, like figure out how you can take that idea and expound on it. Like, there's obviously people looking for that. Find other designs that they're going to look for.
Yeah, that I do, and I think that's important. And I know that's been a key to some of my success on the platform, is seeing what is selling and then just branching out more within that niche, and niches that kind of branch off of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, I think that's something that people need to think about with Etsy too, right? Like, so if you're starting on Etsy or you have an Etsy store, and I was talking with somebody on Instagram earlier about this, like, because you get a lot more data on Etsy, you can actually take that information, like somebody is searching for a particular design, they may find your design not based on whatever keywords or title or tags you have in your design. Like, they may use a totally different term to find your shirt, but because Etsy's algorithm is smart, they'll lead you to your store, and you have that information. So then you can kind of design around that term in the same niche, but with a totally
that's design. Powerful. I know I think that's RJ's little catchphrase. That's powerful.
When it comes to research, like, there's so many ways you could do it. It's pretty cool, because it's like, it's really fun, like, because you learn to like you're outthinking yourself, and then you reconnect with yourself, and you're like, boom, I got it, yes, and then you just make a design off of it and go from there. So I don't know, it's pretty fun researching it. So
yeah, I need to get on Etsy. That's my plan for January. I want to take J&D's course in like November, December, and then I want to start building a brand on there. And that's cool. I've heard a lot of people talk about how cool the information is that they do give back to you.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I think it's a natural progression too, and this is something that RJ and I have been talking about a lot. Is I think it's a natural progression to start out on merch and have some success and start to understand the way things work. And then that's the point you should start thinking about Etsy. Like, I think that a lot of people are, because merch is tougher than when we started. Like, I'm sure it's tougher for you now than when you started too. I know you said you've just recently started to really kind of figure things out and get it all working for you, but it's harder than for sure when me and RJ started. And I think that you have to figure out how merch works before you can really expect to have success on other platforms.
I agree.
With as difficult as merch is, I still think it's easier to make money on merch than it is on any other platform, just because Amazon does so many things for you.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, you're literally can put up products on the #1 retail website in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can't sell one thing here, good luck doing that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not that it can't happen. It's just, yeah.
And I think honestly, most of the people that are complaining, they suck. And I'm not trying to be. Most people that are complaining, they fucking suck, because that's just how it is. It's just, I don't know. Like, I talk to some of the top guys, and they're not complaining. They're uploading, they're designing, they're going, and they're like I told Matt today, I was like, it's about going. Like, you go, you just gotta go. Keep on going. I'm not trying to be mean to you or nothing like that. You just can't fucking suck at this business. If you're gonna suck, you're done. You're it. That's it. You just quit.
But that's the beauty of merch and anything like this, is the fact that even if you do suck right now, that doesn't mean you're gonna suck next week. You gotta, if you want to go all in and do this, you can do it right. everything. All the information is at your fingertips in these groups, books, tutorials. I mean, you don't have to suck.
Well, I mean, so I think that's really valuable right there, right? Like, and let's dive into that a little bit. When you started out, you're a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yes.
Where did the motivation come from, right? Like, because it's not exactly the easiest thing to go from stay-at-home mom to e-commerce, right? Like, they don't necessarily go together.
Yeah, I really don't know. I know that I wanted to be able to help my husband because I mean he works so hard and he never complains, and it's like, what can I do? Because I know that my calling is right here at home with my kids, and that's great and I love it and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But it's like, what can I do? And we thought FBA might be that, but it's just not my thing. And then merch, and it's like, okay, this is great. And then I can be creative, and I found this like purpose that like woke me up and just really did something that I don't know. I just feel better about life in general, and I don't know. It's the coolest opportunity I've ever had.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been super impressive to kind of like see where you were and where you are right now and what you're doing. When you started out, like you said, you sold a shirt fairly quickly. Like, did you find success fairly quickly, or did it take you a while to kind of figure things out?
I was actually tearing up once to twice a month. Up until the freeze. So I think I was doing pretty good. I got on a couple trends in September and October, and that really skyrocketed it for me. So, and it's been good ever since.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And you're honestly like you're growing too as you're going along too. You feel it, right? Like you see that you're growing.
Yeah, and I see myself growing, not so much like in the numbers or anything, because I've been pretty consistent for the past few months, but I'm growing in other ways. Like my designs are getting better. I'm finding like more confidence in the things that I'm putting out there, finding more confidence in the research. And then what's really cool is actually being able to help other people. Like I had no idea that I would even be like invited on a show like this, because I mean, I've just been doing the thing, and it's just really, it's been mind blowing, really, all of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then your team's in the World Series too. So it's
my team is in the World Series. I'm trying not to be rude and looking at the score. It got kind of scary for a minute.
They'll tell us right now. Hey, what's the score? They'll tell us right now in the chat.
I'm
yeah,
sure
ask them, because it's commercials on my end right now. I don't know. I just know we loaded the bases, and I don't. Well. Yeah, Price just loaded the bases for the Dodgers.
They're gonna see the video tip over, and you're gonna jump up.
They might. It happens.
Yeah.
That's all right. We were discussing it earlier. I hate both teams equally, so like I really don't care who wins it. So,
Boston.
My wife is rooting for Boston
Thank
for you,
you.
even though she's an Angels fan, supposedly.
Yeah, if you guys also too, if you guys
Not the Yankees.
if you guys
Anybody but the Yankees. Oh.
If you guys have
No
any
offense
questions
to any
for
Yankee
Amy,
fans. Yeah, bring it.
yeah, if you guys
All
have
the
any questions
offense
for
to
Amy,
Yankees fans.
go ahead and ask it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask it in the chat.
Y'all have to read it to me. I don't have it pulled up. Sorry.
While we're waiting on questions, let's talk about the other things you have going on too besides designing. So you're a part of the Merch Money Show.
Yeah.
Which is every Monday?
Yeah, every Monday night. I would tell you the time, but I'm not even sure. 8:15? I don't even know.
That's
I don't
okay.
know. I get them confused. But yeah, Monday nights, Merch Money with Brianna, Moeller Green, Helen Kinson, Amy Nicholas. And we have different people on, and it's been fun.
Yo,
Yeah,
so
it's a really enjoyable show.
What is it? Eastern? Is it Eastern time?
I believe so. That's probably why I get confused, because I'm Central Time, and they're all Eastern. So.
Right. Okay. And then you and Amanda Balcazar do the Girlboss show every week.
Yeah, that's a new one, and it's been a lot of fun too. Yeah, we just started. In fact, yesterday was our first time going on the official girlboss YouTube channel, so that's where we're going to be now every Tuesday.
Yep.
Which is 9:15 Eastern time. I know that one.
Well, the most important thing is you guys are on YouTube, so that makes it easy. So we'll include a link down below where you guys can subscribe. And if you hit the bell, like it just notifies you whenever they go live. It makes it way easier.
Yeah, and it's a fun show. We had Catherine Shelton on with us last night talking about Create Space and KDP, which is, making the moves in our little community. And it's a good time. It's a lot of fun.
For sure.
Nelson
like I said,
Nelson said in the chat, merch money is at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
That
Nelson right here is
sounds about right. That
Nelson
sounds
Eastern.
about right.
Nelson's on.
Sorry, guys.
Whatever. We don't know what time our show starts either, so like we have a hard enough time remembering it's on Wednesdays. So we're getting some questions in. Do you do any advertising outside of Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, anything?
I haven't. I'm wanting to start, but I haven't. I have my hands in so many different cookie jars. I haven't even started AMS ads yet. And I know that I need to because that'll really help. I just haven't. All
Nice.
organic.
Okay. And I mean, I think that... So I get this question constantly because I released a bunch of stuff about AMS, so everybody asks me questions about it. And I will say right now that like the main misconception people have about AMS is that it's necessary for you to do AMS to have success on merch, which is totally not true. And then also that like AMS is a magic bull, that if you're using AMS, you're suddenly going to start getting sales. That's also not true. Like, and so we're starting to see some posts from people that are like losing money at AMS. And there's a reason for that. Like you need to have all the other things dialed in before you start running paid traffic to your shirts. Make sure your stuff you're putting out there is good.
Yeah. And you know, it's almost a good thing to see that your ads aren't working for you because it does clue you in and you can change that. So,
Correct.
I mean,
100%.
and that's one reason why I need to get into it too. I need to kind of see better
That's
what I think.
That's also too the fun part is like figuring out like what's going on. That's the fun part. That's like this whole journey. Like everyone that's doing this, that's the whole journey. That's the whole point of this. You got to figure out like why. What's your like why? Like what? Like why is it doing that? Why? Once you figure that out, then everything else is just go. It's like you're going.
And that's why I think the lower tiers are good. And yeah, it's hard and it is getting harder. But those lower tiers, that's when you're laying the foundation for your business and you're really figuring stuff out. So, I mean, there's a lot of value with those tiers and learning and testing and just figuring it out so that when you are in the higher tiers, it's much easier.
Yeah,
even amongst the competition.
Right. I actually wish Amazon would have stuck to their guns on the tiers, like because you can get tiered up to tier 500 with like seriously 20 sales now, and I feel like it was really valuable. I feel like it was a very big learning experience. Like because if you could design and you had talent, you blew through the lower tiers really quickly, right? Like you tiered up fairly quickly, no problem at all. But if you didn't have that and you didn't understand how things worked, it was a learning experience. You had to work at it to get better, to get out of those tiers.
And there was this benefit to tiering up too. It was like, okay, not only are you making money, but now you have this other goal to achieve. And it just made it fun. And I'm very competitive. So I loved the tiers.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, tiers are cool. But the lower ones, it was like, I just wanted to get higher and higher and higher.
For sure.
Yeah. I like, when the higher tiers, like when we did that little freeze, I had like over like probably like 1,000 designs come off. So I was like, oh. Okay.
Ouch.
Now let me focus on having like good quality designs now.
Yeah.
Instead of just these. But then there's other people that are killing it just with the simple text-based designs, and they're crushing it.
That's why it's so beautiful. Like there's so many different ways to tackle the way you merch. It's not a one size fits all. And I mean, if you like something, there's a good chance there's somebody else in the world that does too. Just got to get it in front of their eyes.
How do you go about writing your listings?
Lately, it's been pretty short and to the point. I've been following Neil's methods and looking at the product module or whatever on Merch Informer and seeing what keywords people are using there, and then I'll just kind of take a few, and then of course using common sense, and I'll plug it in a good sentence.
Okay. So you're basically using like the Merch Informer keywords that are like in the product results?
For the most part, but then I mean, sometimes I don't even have time to do that, and it's kind of common sense, and I'll just put in what I believe people are searching for.
Yeah, I seen I was actually doing what happened? Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was doing research right before the show, and I found a listing that said comma this, comma like keyword comma, and it was just like I'm gonna say stuffing because it was all related to the listing. So that's what Amazon says. It's not keyword stuffing unless it's like related to it. So, but it was just all over the place, like wristband, had the
I've
word
been
wristband in there. I was like, this has nothing to do with it, but
I am
guess it
so
does.
tempted to list like that because I see a lot of them that are doing really well. That's how their listing is, and it's just like, I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah. Honestly, like that was like my very first video. It was a Cinco de Mayo. Actually, my shirt it said like Cinco de Mayo T-shirt, and then it said Cinco de Mayo TEE shirt, and you know what I mean. It was all had like
Cinco
all
de
kinds
Mayo
of
shirt for grandma, Cinco de
comma,
Mayo shirt
yeah,
for uncle.
and it was making sales, and it was killing it. And I was like, man, okay. And then that's when I started. That's when I made my first YouTube video, and then people started following me.
That's awesome.
It
But
was
yeah,
pretty cool.
do you stuff it now or you?
No, actually, I'm just like very simple with it. Sometimes I'll take my time, but then I'll just do like one sentence in it, and then the shirt will actually make a sale. So I really don't pay too much attention to it. I think that's a big thing. Like a lot of people, like in the lower tiers, they have problems doing the listings and understanding. I use the auto complete bar. I mean the search bar on Amazon, and I
I
still
use that too. Yes, very, very, very good tool.
I actually have a shirt that's taken off because I use the Amazon search bar, and it's pretty cool because it's like that. Like you don't need nothing. You don't need no tool. You don't need a paid tool or nothing. That still works.
It does because I mean that, and people that are on Amazon shopping, like sometimes they're not even sure what they want, and Amazon tells them. So if you put that in there, yeah, it's genius.
Yeah, for sure.
I think when you're writing your titles, it's actually one of the most important things.
I agree.
I mean, what would you say to the lower tiers? Like, what's the number one thing that they should be focusing on? What do you think?
Just stay the course. It's hard, but it is so rewarding. Keep an eye on what is working for you, what isn't. If nothing's working, try something different. Reach out to people because I mean, this community is amazing. Like people love to help others. They love to talk merch. Just message somebody or whatever, post in the groups and just stay the course, improve where you can, and just have fun. Like have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard you should message a Nas.
I haven't yet.
Just messing with
I
him.
know everybody has, but I haven't. Or have I? I don't think I have.
I know we need to get him on the show next too. That'd be pretty.
He'll
good.
never come on.
No, he will. I'll have to tell him he will.
You need to get some blackmail on him. Do you have any yet?
No,
Yeah, probably.
There you go.
That Nas is great. I have I actually had a video. We were hanging out in Vegas, and he saw. Doesn't he look like Jeff Bezos? And
He looks like Jeff Bezos.
took a
Maybe
picture.
he is Jeff.
Yeah, and he was like, "You better not, RJ. You better not post it." Then my phone, in my photos, they made like an actual video of him. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." Then I sent it to him. He was like, "Oh man, you better delete that." So,
Bezos undercover.
Yeah.
So the hustling hippie has a good comment right here. Don't worry about tearing up. Make nice designs, nice shirts. Tears will come, and I think that's true. I think that people worry way too much about what tier they are instead of worrying about the most important thing. Like, is your stuff selling? Like, are you selling shirts? That's the most important thing.
Well, I actually had somebody message me the other day, and he's like, "Hey, my friend made $7,000 in a month, and I'm at tier 25, and I've sold 2 things." And it's like, well, hang on. All right, I'd be a little bit skeptical about the 7,000, and I just try to encourage, and it's like you need to focus on the long game. Like this isn't a get rich overnight thing, and if that's what you're wanting, you're not going to find that in merch. But you got to look at the long term because you can have a lot of success, and there's enough of that for all of us. I've said that so many times to people. Look at the long term too. So that's definitely another glitter bomb.
Yeah, I actually think that's super important. People, when they start out, like they see some of these big numbers and they're like, how do I get that? What's the way to get there? And they take shortcuts, and those shortcuts, like they get you cut off the program. Like it might not happen right away. Like you might last a month or two. And we get in these, like I'll see these posts on Facebook sometimes, and it's just unbelievable. Like you got to play within the rules.
You do, and it's worth it. It really is, because Amazon truly does want you to do well and be successful. The more successful you are, the more successful they are. And their rules are not that difficult to follow. But if you want to cut corners and stuff, I mean, it will cost you, and it's not worth it.
For sure. Especially right now as you're coming into the best time of the year. Like
exactly.
This is the best time of the year. You are going to make more money than you do at any other time of the year. Like, be smart.
Yeah, like
I am
that's a big
so
thing.
excited.
I think that's a big thing too. Like I said, I've been saying it every single video. Do not like all the new people that are out there in the lower tiers. Do not copy someone else's design pixel for pixel. Do not do that. Do not do that.
No.
That was like a big thing to me. Like when I first started making these videos and how to do this and how to do that, I was like, dude, like someone just copied my design. Like you feel like yeah, someone just ran you over in a way.
You really do. It's like I have a hard time with thieves anyway. Like thieves and liars. I've just not my favorite people. And when I have something that I've worked on and put the time into research and design for, and then like I see this like blatant ripoff, oh, it's infuriating. It really is.
I bet you right now, like I haven't looked though, but the conference videos that came out like about 2 days ago, and I shared like one of my live illustrations, and I'm pretty sure someone's in there. They probably have copied pixel for pixel already. I already know because I was like wait till after Halloween's over so you can see my actual design that I share with everybody. So yeah, just I don't know, just it's just people that do that are just trying to make a quick buck and don't do it. I know some people don't mean to, they don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
But then there's some people that understand what they're doing. So
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to start learning like how to draw and how to sketch, do you have any resources that you recommend?
I am currently enrolled in a course from Udemy. I just started it today. I enrolled last night, and already I'm like, my mind's blown. But I mean, look for different drawing tutorials, beginner to advanced. There's some great ones on Udemy. There's some great ones on YouTube. Books from the library. I mean, you can really just get back to the basics if you really want to learn. I know, like, for me, what I usually do, and it's kind of silly, I get on Pinterest and I make my own little mood boards. Like, I know what I kind of want to create around, and I'll just create a board or what is it called? Like a pin board, I guess. I don't know. But you just stick a bunch of stuff on there, but it's all related to like this idea that I have, and then I'll just kind of look at it, and then when I feel inspired, I just go for it. I try to look at light and lines and stuff, but books, YouTube, everything, it's all online.
What's the name of that course that you're taking? Did you say it?
Oh, let's see. I believe it is called Beginner to. It's by this guy named Jason, Jaysen, Bachelor or something. Hang on, I can pull it up real quick.
You're gonna make someone.
It's an incredible course. Like today, I drew an eye, and I still look at it. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I made that.
Oh, seems pretty fun.
Yeah, the Ultimate Drawing Course Beginner to Advanced by Jason Bachelor. It's on Udemy, and it's on sale right now. It's like $11. And yeah, a friend of mine shared it. Not even a merch friend. And her 10-year-old took it, and they have like the before and after, because they have you draw an eye at the beginning, and then you're going to draw a human eye at the end and see how you've applied everything that you learned. And his like before and after, it's night and day. It's amazing. It blew my mind. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm signed up. So that's one I would recommend.
Okay. All right. Well, see, any more questions? That was the last question. You'd recommend a good drawing tablet to integrate.
But then just get started. Just have fun. Play around.
So what are your goals for Q4?
Sell a lot of shirts and pop sockets. I don't know. I haven't thought much about it. I want to continue learning how to apply better research methods and just continue to put stuff up every day, even if I'm only loading like 1 or 2 things until they tell me I can't. But I hope I'm going to have a really good Q4, and I think I'm set up pretty sweet. Okay. So
how are you finding time? Like, you have kids, you have a husband, like, I realize you're staying at home, but like there's a lot of responsibilities that come there. Like, how do you fit that into your daily schedule?
Well, I mean, there are some days that I might get lucky and get to spend like 20 minutes doing something for merch. And then other days that I have like an hour, I just kind of steal minutes where I can, while also trying to take care of other things. I try to plan my week in advance, but that doesn't always work. But when I planned, I do pretty well. It's just being intentional with minutes. I'm not always the best at that, though.
I think we all struggle with that a little bit. I think we could all do better if we had a little bit more planning. Now, are you working 7 days a week? Do you set time limits on yourself for when you're working on merch?
For the most part, I'm doing everything every day for even if it's like just research. Like I'll have one day that I just focus on the research, and the next day I might design a few things around it, and then the next day I might upload. It varies day to day. I do try to work every day at it though, even if it's doing a course like how to draw. You know, I feel like that's also providing value to my business. It's just
right.
Try to do something every day.
See, like people like you and like Joseph Gallegos, who's another friend of ours, who have a family and have all these other responsibilities and still find time to do merch and do well at merch. Like to me, you guys are the proof that like there are no excuses, right? Like it's not luck. It's not. There are no excuses. It's like how hard do you want to work at something? How much do you want to learn? How willing are you to dedicate yourself?
That's exactly it too. That's it. That's the key ingredients to anything that you want to be successful at.
Okay, so are you uploading any designs up to Redbubble, Zazzle, or Spreadshirt, anything like that?
I do have a Redbubble account. I'm not the best at uploading stuff on there, but I do when I have time. Sometimes my husband will actually help me with that one.
Okay. Does your husband help you at all with merch, or is it just kind of like with the Redbubble stuff?
Just with the Redbubble stuff. It's not really his thing. He wants to get into the world of wholesale and FBA and all that, and it's like, hey, that's fine. But this is pretty much my thing. So.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Do you watch anybody for like any type of daily motivation or anything like that?
Actually, there is a podcast that I was introduced to not too long ago, and I listened to at least one show every single day. It's called Don't Keep Your Day Job, and it's amazing. It's for creatives and people that want to make money doing things that they enjoy, and it's perfect. And I have learned just so much, not even related to merch necessarily, but I've learned so much from that one. So I give that one like all the recos.
All right, that's cool. I'll listen to that one. I'll check that one out.
Don't keep your day job. It is so good. And there's one episode in particular. It's called Animate Your Destiny, and she's talking with a Disney animator. And when he started out, like he was a pretty crappy artist, and now he's a designer for Disney. And he takes you through his journey and just gives all kinds of like glitter bombs or nuggets or whatever you want to call them. It's just amazing. Yes,
that's my favorite.
So, mine too.
On Instagram, are there any accounts that you like to follow for like motivation, for like designing tips, any of that stuff? Because I actually follow a number of artists on Instagram just to kind of see like what they're doing, what looking for ideas, everything else.
Yeah, I've only recently started following other artists since like I started Inktober. I've been pretty bad about like I'll have my Instagram, I'll do good posting, and then it goes dormant for like 2-3 months. But I've just recently started following different artists. Somebody you had on not too long ago, Zach Knickerbocker. Yeah, him. I get a lot of value from him.
His Instagram is great.
It is. It really is. For merch, yeah. So.
I told him, I was like, you make everything seem like you're at Disneyland. It doesn't matter what you do. I feel like I'm at Disneyland every time I watch your stuff. So
I sit there and it makes me want to go and visit New York. I don't even like New York, No offense to y'all New Yorkers watching. I'm from Boston, so.
There goes our watch.
No, sorry.
Now
you're getting all the thumbs downs.
No, it's all good. We can talk shit about New York all day long. I will say that something that Amy Herberger said to you, and I agree completely. Like, I really hope that you don't stop doing the illustrations after Inktober is over. Like, continue to do that. Continue to show your work, because I think it's motivating to people. Like, for somebody that I used to sketch all the time and screw around. Like, it's actually got me motivated a little bit to start messing around with it.
Definitely do. I mean, even if you suck at it, you're only gonna get better.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. In fact, I think it was like the second weekend, being very committed and making sure I've missed a couple days, but I always make up for it. But it's like there's a lot. I find I'm sorry, I'm skipping all over the place, but I've noticed that the more that I'm creating, like the more the more ideas I get, which can definitely be applied to merch, and I'm getting better as an artist, and the way that things work and different layouts, and yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I want to see where I am this time next Inktober, and I mean it's only gonna get better. So
where do you
yeah,
see
I'll be going.
yourself in the future? Like, what's your plans with merch?
I want to be making some serious cash dollars. I want to be making like 10 grand a month. I'd be very happy with that on merch. I want to expand to other print on demand websites. I want to build a couple of brands both on Etsy and Shopify. I'm pretty much like all in on print on demand. As long as there's a need, I want to be there to fill it. So
that's very cool.
But I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
No, we of course we will actually do that. I just sometimes it just takes times, like we run into little like hiccups and stuff along the journey. But we know in our minds that as long as we keep on going and keep on learning and keep on doing things, like we're gonna actually get to that point where we want to be. But then there's sometimes like I feel like, man, like am I even growing? But then when you ask yourself that, it's like you actually are growing, you just don't even know it. Like,
yeah, that's why I think it's important to like revisit where you were a year ago, and then that puts it in perspective too. Even like just talking about like earlier the designs that we put up in the beginning versus like what we're putting up now, it's two different designs.
Yeah, honestly, like I want to put like a design that I did from the very beginning so people can judge it, and I want people to talk about it. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know. It's a win-win situation, but we're learning together, and it's getting pretty fun.
It is. I agree.
All right. Well,
one last question. Are you still using the Over app to do some of your designs? Or are you doing everything now on the iPad?
I am doing everything on the iPad for the most part, but yes, I still use Over. I use Over pretty regularly. I have all my fonts on there. So sometimes like I'll just create like my graphic, or I have my idea what I want to do. I'll make that in Procreate, and then I bring it over to Over, or sometimes I'll bring the fonts from Over and put it into Procreate. But yeah, I still use it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha.
RJ,
are you still designing with Over?
I do it sometimes, like if I'm messing around. But no.
It's a good app. Like if you don't know what you're doing or how to start, like there's a lot of information just on there for like how to be a good designer using their app. And I mean, there's graphics you can use, fonts you can use, and everything. So I mean, it's a nice little program for somebody that's not really familiar. It was a great stepping stone for me too.
It's pretty intuitive. Like I used it because I was flying back and forth a lot a couple weeks ago, and I didn't feel like getting out my laptop to do work while I was on the plane, just because those seats are ridiculously small. So I downloaded it Over and started playing around with it. It's pretty easy to use, and you can do a lot of stuff with it.
Yeah, you really can. It's fun. I mean, there's some things that you can't, but it's a phone app, and you can make some money just playing with it. I have.
Right. Oh, Jack Browning, sorry. He asked a question earlier in the chat, and I totally forgot about it. So, and this is something I think you guys should both weigh in on. When you guys have a design that's selling well, okay, and it depends on your pricing strategy, but like for us, at least with me and RJ, I know we kind of start low and then bump the price up over time and just test it out and see what the floor is. What do you do when you've raised the price to a point and it stops selling?
That's a good question because I don't really raise my I need to start raising my prices. I started about $15.99 because I want to make at least $2. I don't typically go over $17.99.
Okay.
Well, it all depends because sometimes it just keeps on selling. I have a shirt that I raised up to $19.99 and it sold 10 today. So
yeah.
With that being said, it's like I had it at $16.99. But then we're getting closer to the holiday. I raised it to $19.99, and when I woke up this morning, it was at 10 sales already. So it's all about like, because I know there's a few shirts that I had that were selling like 5 to 8 times a day last year, and they're gone. Like they're not selling like they used to. But you got to keep in mind that I also didn't have AMS ads running to them, like they cut off. So it kind of messed it up a little bit when it was like ranking organically. So here it goes back to that too. So when you're running AMS ads, it's all a test, you know what I mean? So it's like no right and no wrong answer when it comes to this. But lowering the price a little bit to get the few sales so it can start ranking for each individual keyword is a good way to do that, and then kind of bump it back up to like that sweet spot where you've been selling it at, and just go from there. But that's pretty much what I do.
Here's a little tip. So if that happens, right? So say you raise your price from $17.99, it's selling every day, multiple times a day, right? And you raise it to $18.99, and it hasn't sold by like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. Like, drop the price down, buy a copy of the shirt. Okay. Like, continue that, keep that sales velocity going on Amazon, because that matters. Like, consistency, sales velocity, sales history are a big part of the algorithm. So like, if you know that shirt's going to make you money regardless, like it's a small drop in the bucket, you're going to spend $16.99 or whatever, or you can even drop it down even further. Like, so I played around with price a ton, going into St. Patrick's Day, and then also with going into like football season and everything else. I talked about those with RJ. Like, I was playing around with price on the daily. Like, I would drop the price at the end of the night and bring it down, just so in the morning it would get a couple of sales, spark it, and then raise the price back up. Like, just test things. But you can keep it going. Like, you just, if it hasn't sold, the most important thing is you want to make sure that you tell Amazon that it's still important. Like, it's still important. It's still selling.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to buy a copy of the shirt.
Oh, I have. That's one area that I know I need to work on, is testing prices. But like we were talking earlier, time is like a very valuable commodity, and just don't have it sometimes. But you're right. Yeah. I need to do that too.
No.
That was something that we're messing with. I think it was the last holiday, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot. Yeah, you can't be afraid to test. I think that's the most important thing. Like, there are so many different variables in merch. Like, you just have to be willing to test and realize, like, nothing is going to kill your shirt. Like, raising a price to a certain point isn't going to make your shirt suddenly stop selling forever. Like, just test.
Because I think, well, because also too, like, you get most of your sales in the morning. A lot of people like to shop like on FBA. A lot of people shop, like a lot of the FBA sellers make most of their sales in the morning, and then they're like towards the evening got more people buying. So basically, just put that price low, get that sales rank going, get those keywords ranking, and then like what you said, 1 p.m. put the price back up.
Yeah.
Is that what you said, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with that this weekend.
So
yeah, okay.
I just want to say thank you, Amy, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
This has been an awesome show. I think it was fantastic. So I really appreciate you coming on. And we will link all of your shows and all of your social media and everything else down below. You all should follow her, because she is awesome.
And if you guys follow me on Instagram, I will follow you back.
You have Instagram. You go ahead and shout your Instagram out if you like.
Amy Alicia _hi.
Okay. I'll put that down below for you too as well. Her Instagram right down below. You guys go ahead and follow her on there too as well. And then I'll also fix. I misspelled money down below. I'll fix that too.
We didn't ask that question.
Yeah,
how did you misspell money?
I don't know. Well, you gotta understand the O and the P are right there, and
it's Dolores. Like, I mean, were you trying to bust out like your Spanish or what?
No, I was just trying to do everything at once. I was multitasking, trying to do everything at once.
RJ. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
All right,
you too.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.